Maria, a born and bred Seville local, has offered to take me deep behind the scenes of Semana Santa, one of Spain's and the world's most dramatic religious celebrations. She belongs to one of the centuries-old brotherhoods or hermandades and will be marching as a black-hooded Nazarena in one of the giant processions on the first day of celebrations.
Cheers, Maria.
Cheers,
Good to see
James.
you. What is happening tomorrow?
I think it's my favorite day of the year because it's the day where my procession goes ahead.
Yeah.
And I would be also taking part in the procession, so I'm very excited.
Semana Santa, or Holy Week in Seville, is an annual religious event that commemorates the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's marked by a week of solemn processions featuring elaborately adorned floats, lifelike statues of biblical scenes, and penitents dressed in traditional robes that are often misunderstood. For the next 48 hours, Maria and her father Antonio will take me under their wings to show me the side of Semana Santa that outsiders don't get to see, and to help me understand why this event is so significant for their family and the city of Seville.
This whole Semana Santa thing feels so impenetrable for like an outsider like me, you know? And so to be able to go with you and see your procession and accompany you, it's like a privilege. So thank you. Cheers again. Salud.
Cheers again. Salud.
Salud. Salud.
Seville is getting ready for a big party. The streets and tapas bars are packed.
It's intense in there.
I think we left just in time.
Yeah, right?
It's the day before Semana Santa starts and the anticipation is palpable.
All these chairs and everything, these are people to watch, right? You gotta pay, right, I guess?
Yeah, you're gonna pay from 200 euros to maybe 1,000 or...
You're gonna see the people with the nice clothes up here.
Maria is taking me to her chapel to admire her brotherhood's floats that are the focal point of Semana Santa processions.
How do you feel when you see it?
Impressed.
Yeah?
Emotional. I'm surprised because I didn't know it was going to be dressed up this way, because normally he's dressed only from the waist down. So this is the moment in which Jesus is gets his clothes ripped off to be crucified after.
And there's the Virgin, right? The Virgin Mary.
Maria has received special permission from the head of the Brotherhood to allow me to take my camera to the restricted area behind the floats so we can see them up close.
This is the Virgin's dress. It's incredible, the detail and the size of it. How did you become a member? Like, how does one become a member of a brotherhood?
We were doing one of our Sunday strolls.
Yeah.
We basically entered this church.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just felt something about it. Like, as soon as they opened the door, I was like, Dad, I want to be a member of this brotherhood. And he looked at me like...
Because this is not his brotherhood.
No,
Yeah.
at all. Now it is, but after I
He followed
introduced
you.
him, exactly, like completely the opposite that what it's normal.
Are you religious?
That's a very good question. I think I have like a dissident religiousness.
What does that mean?
I might live religiousness in a way that is not the standard one, let's say. Like I have my own beliefs and probably it's not what many people here would think, but I feel more comfortable doing it that way.
That's a very cryptic answer.
Yeah. Most of the members of the Brotherhood don't go on regular basis to the Brotherhood. Religiousness is a little bit not as strict as might look like from the outside, you know what I mean?
Maria's comments about the religious aspect of Semana Santa surprise me. When I see people marching in the heat and black hoods, many carrying crosses, I immediately think they must be highly devout. But as we finish up the day at another bar decorated with Semana Santa iconography, we see members of her brotherhood drinking beers and eating tapas. I'm starting to get a sense that for many locals here, Semana Santa is as much a cultural and community experience as it is a religious one.
It's all about sticking together, you know, as a group.
I love it. Okay, so it's 10 a.m. on Palm Sunday, the first day officially of Semana Santa, and the city is really quiet. I'm off now to Maria's friend's house where Maria's going to get ready for her procession. Hola, ¿qué tal?
Mi padre?
Hola.
This is Antonio, Maria's father. He has marched as a Nazareno for 35 years, many of them alongside his daughter as members of the same brotherhood. He decided to retire from the processions last year. This is the first year he won't be marching, and instead he'll be assisting Maria in her preparation and during the procession.
¿Cómo se siente usted ver la...
Me da mucha emoción.
Sí.
Claro, y mucha envidia también.
How are you feeling?
Nervous.
Yeah?
I didn't really sleep because I was, the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like I was turn around then, turn around again.
So here we have it. Wow. How long have you owned this for?
It's one, I think 25 years.
Yo creo que es una mezcla de todo. O sea, cada uno puede ser, como yo soy católico, o sea, de familia católica y todo, quizás no lo más practicante del mundo, pero sí. Pero es una mezcla entre las dos cosas, es una mezcla entre la esfera religiosa, pero también la esfera de tradición popular. Sí. Eso que me gusta mucho.
What's the deal with
the candies? Yeah. It's a tradition that the Nazarenos hand candies to kids, especially young kids, because sometimes they can get very scared about seeing people in hoods. You will see them in the first line. Yeah. Come on, give me my candy, you know? And sometimes they're looking for the Nazareno that has the candies, and when they spot one, it's like, ¡Ese tiene!
I feel privileged to be allowed to witness and film Maria get ready. Normally, this is a very private affair.
How does it feel just putting it on?
Nice.
Yeah.
Although I never remember how big and wide it is, because obviously this is not tailor-made.
Yeah, okay.
So this is another thing that we must have. And it must fall on the left side.
Okay.
And then something important is that so that this doesn't move too much. And you know, if there's wind or something, that nobody sees my hair, because also it should be anonymous, right? So.
And what's the tradition of women as Nazarenos?
It's quite recent. I mean, they have always been in their hermandades, but kind of like invisible roles. But in my brotherhood, I would say like a big number of Nazarenas are women. Also, by the way, in case somebody's interested in seeing what a Nazareno wears underneath.
Yeah. Sensible footwear.
With this, I should be ready.
Wow. Do you want to show me what the full... So obviously when people from overseas see, particularly the hood,
yeah.
I mean, they think KKK.
Yeah.
So
unfortunate.
Explain it to us.
This is an outfit that has been around in Seville for minimum 15th century. Even before that, like there were many people doing penitence and they went on processions, and we know that they wore similar tunics to this and capes and everything. It became very famous with the Spanish Inquisitions, that they used to use these cones for the people in jail and everything. Well, it just kind of passed on, like anybody doing penitence for their sins. So it's a long-lasting tradition that gets very unfortunate, you know, when in the 60s the KKK takes the outfit probably from here. Unfortunately now, for example, like our pastry shops that sells sweets, they have like small depictions of Nazarenos like all year long. Yeah. No? Foreigners come here and they get very scared. Or if I told anyone from the US that kids do wear like this, that's very scary for them, and I'm really sorry. We were first. Como llevo una mascarilla, se ve si me río.
Estoy saliendo.
You've got smiling eyes, I can see. This is my hat. I need a sun hat, and so...
The rules dictate that Maria must walk alone to the chapel where her 8+ hour procession will begin. And so I leave a few minutes later with Antonio. He will be my guide for the day.
Así que en el bolso, ¿qué lleva?
Bocadillos.
Bocadillos para María.
Bocadillos y luego una neverita para mantener el agua fría.
And our first stop is back to the Brotherhood's chapel to see one of the most popular moments in the procession, the salida, or the moment the floats pass, or squeeze more like it, through the large chapel doors. I stick to Antonio as we weave through the crowded, twisting streets. But on arrival, we realized we've gotten here late.
So we can't go here.
People have been waiting in the hot sun for hours to get a front row spot. Clearly, the locals take this seriously.
Ya hay mucha gente. So the reality is we're not going to be able to see the leaving of the floats because we're late. The only time I've seen people waiting for so long is to buy an iPhone. There's Nazarenos passing, coming back and forth.
La gente aquí es gente que quiere ver la salida de esta hermandad, pero hay 60 hermandades, así que ¿qué va a hacer esta gente durante la semana? ¿O hoy van a ir buscando otras procesiones?
Claro, por supuesto. Es que en eso consiste el vivir y el ver la Semana Santa. Son vivencias de toda una vida, porque es algo que desde chico lo estás viviendo, que forma parte de tu ser. La meta fundamental de las hermandades es hacer estación de penitencia, o sea, de salir públicamente a hacer una manifestación de fe. Pero el resto del año también siguen estando ahí. Entonces no es solamente, o sea, el que le gusta la Semana Santa, el que vive su hermandad, está todo el año implicado en la hermandad.
What is your relationship with Semana Santa?
So I like it. I like it until I don't like it. In Australia and in New Zealand, we don't have anything like this. You know, for me, it's interesting. But my friends are like, "Tía, estás loca. ¿Por qué te quieres meter en la gente?" It's great if you're like not doing anything. It doesn't matter if you get stuck in a crowd, but if you're like running to the co-working and you have a call in 10 minutes and like you get like stopped by a pass, I was like,
Can't get through.
The procession is about to begin. First will come the guiding cross, followed by 550 black-hooded nazarenos, one of whom is María.
Maria's somewhere up there. Here we go. Guiding cross. And here they come.
Something's happening. They've just... Shh, everybody's gone quiet. The Christ is coming.
So there is a guy guiding them from here
Yeah.
and telling them it's like, hey, a little bit more to the right, a little bit to the left,
wow.
keep going in front and now stop.
There's a structure under here, and they've got it like kind of on their backs,
Exactly. They have it on their necks.
on their necks.
Yes.
Here comes the first float, the Christ.
Since you've got visual stimuli, you've got music.
If you're not able to feel absolutely anything
Yeah.
when you see a procession in Semana Santa, there must be something wrong.
More silence. The Virgin may be about to come out.
The Virgin is out. We're going to go in a sec because we need to get our place to find Maria, to figure out if we can get her this sandwich. That is our mission.
It is a mission from God, literally.
You might think that delivering Maria a sandwich mid-procession is easy, but then you realize you have to find her amongst 550 anonymous hooded figures in the middle of a thronging crowd. Game on.
Su trabajo es, bueno, no seguir, pero dar comida y agua a María. ¿Cómo va a reconocer a ella si lleva el traje?
Hombre, lo primero porque sé en qué parte de la cofradía va. Las cofradías se reparten, digamos, en una cosa que se llama tramos,
Sí.
que van entre insignia e insignia.
Sí.
Hay nazarenos con cirio.
Sí.
Eso es lo que forman tramos.
Sí.
Ella, por ejemplo, va en el cuarto tramo.
Vale.
Pues hombre, un poquito por la estatura, otra porque si te ve ella hará alguna señal disimuladamente, a lo mejor con la mano.
Antonio has identified an ideal spot to link up with Maria, but I'm still doubtful how he's going to recognize her amongst her fellow nazarenos.
A partir de aquí,
Si no,
debe de venir aquí.
Suddenly, Antonio launches into the thick of the procession, and without thinking, I follow. I feel like I'm doing something highly transgressive, but I rationalize that as long as I stick close to Antonio, I'll be okay. And finally, we find Maria and deliver the sandwich.
Mission accomplished.
So as a Brit living here, what does all this mean?
I will never forget my first time I ever saw a procession. It brought tears to my eyes, just being part of it, because you feel part of something. There's everybody in the crowd, there's the music, there's the passion, there's the emotion just in the street. It's the one moment in the year where I really feel like I can allow myself to express all my emotions in one go, in public. Yeah, makes me cry my eyes out, basically.
think the thing that probably surprised me most about today is, despite the heat, the sun that's baking us, Antonio never takes off the jacket. These Sevillanos, man, I guess if you've marched for 8 hours in the sun wearing a black hood, wearing a suit jacket is nothing. I'm so soft. That is very clear to me.
With the first 2 sandwiches delivered, we decide to honor another Semana Santa tradition. Hit the tapas bars for drinks.
2 cervezas y una tónica, por favor.
Volando entre las campanas de esa torre tan flamenca que corona un girardillo y el cachorro nunca ha visto el barrio del Baratillo. Porque mira el cielo azul de esa tierra mariana que busca en su cara la luz. ¡Malas puñalas gitanas! ¿Quién te clavara en la cruz?
Bravo. Lo de hoy, su primer año como ayudante, ¿no? No nazareno. ¿Es más difícil o más fácil lo que está haciendo hoy?
Yo creo que más difícil.
¿Sí?
Claro, porque sales de nazareno y son otros los que vienen a ayudarte a ti.
Ya.
Tú sigues tu cortejo.
No tienes que tomar decisiones, es como...
Aquí tienes que andar corriendo de un lado a otro,
sí,
pidiendo permiso a la gente. Es más complicado, es más estresante.
Es más estresante.
Claro que sí, muchísimo más.
1 beer becomes 3 and 1 bar becomes 2. But before long, Antonio signals that it's time to leave. We have to get Maria her second sandwich and more water.
We have a serious crowd issue here as we head to give the second bocadillo. I don't know how we're going to find Maria, but I trust in Antonio. Así que Antonio, están todos esperando la procesión, ¿no?
Sí.
Vale. Critical that we're right on the curb. Eso. So anybody else who comes is right behind. Can't get in front. She's going to come through here. Boom. Miranda wants me to grab a beer, but I know over here. But I know, don't give up your spot. Don't give up your spot.
Please stay here and you go jog us with
I'm not going to give up the moment. First line of defense. La cruz de guía, ¿no? Sí, cruz de guía. The beginning of the procession.
And here comes Maria for the offload of the second sandwich.
Hojita de chocolate.
And so under here, this is the 36 guys under here. You can kind of see the structure a little bit that will be resting on their backs, right? On
Exactly,
their necks,
on their
up there.
necks. So here, for example, at the back of the float, you can see this guy with a hammer in his hand who is like preparing the cross already, while the other guys are, trying to get the clothes off Jesus and the Roman soldiers behind him. So it's a whole thing, to make people understand what's going on in the times that people couldn't read. What is magical about Semana Santa is that it kind of unites people together, like it doesn't matter the generation. You can find very little children, even babies, but the parents are carrying them.
Night falls and Maria is still marching. So with time to kill, guess what we do?
Gracias, Antonio. Salud. Nada. Tiene calor.
Hace aquí una harta de calor.
¿No quiere quitar la chaqueta?
Protocolo mío particular. Si vas en chaqueta, vas en chaqueta.
Que cada uno celebra su Semana Santa a su manera.
Se aguanta uno.
Eso. A lot of processions, a lot of crowds, a lot of wine. This is Semana Santa, right? So we're going now to get Maria.
¿Pero es María?
Hombre, claro que es María.
Es que no sabía que... ¿Cómo ha sido?
Pues muy caluroso. Nuevo también porque yo hacía mucho tiempo que no llevaba cirio.
Sí.
Que no llevaba... Y no sabía cómo iba a ser, claro, no sé. Había momentos en los que andábamos mucho y no nos parábamos y no descansaba el cirio. Y yo con las manos, los deditos ya como que se me va a caer, que se me cae, que no puedo.
Porque no puedes quitar el...
No debo.
Hasta que llegues a casa.
Hasta que llego a casa, sí. Ni ponerme a ver procesiones vestidas así, en plan, venga, pues ahora me voy a la Estrella, que está por ahí por Triana.
Ya.
Mi plan es ir a casa, cambiarme si todavía me quedan fuerzas.
Descansa un poquito.
Descansar
Y ven alguna que venga de vuelta.
La amargura quiero ver este año.
Maria went home to change, and then she and her dad went out procession watching into the wee hours. But I headed for bed with a plan to meet up with her again in the morning.
¿Qué tal?
Muy bien.
¿Qué tal estás?
Estoy muerta.
Sí, ¿no?
Sí.
How was last night? What did you do after?
Kill myself. No, I saw the entrada of another one.
Another one going back into the chapel. What time did you stay up until?
No, until 1 or something.
Ah, not too late.
No, not too late.
After walking for 9 hours in the heat.
enough.
So one thing that blows me away is your stamina, your dad's stamina. I was exhausted yesterday. Yesterday was day 1.
But it's a very intense day because Palm Sunday is the first official day, so everybody's super dressed up, like has a lot of energy. Also, people do go to bars, you know, and sit down and have their drinks.
Oh, I know, we did that.
Exactly, like you get your energy from there as well, from resting. You know, there is a moment when you're tired, and there's this big time, right, where you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But once you pass that time, you can handle everything. That's what we do.
Oye, muchísimas gracias.
Sí.
Y nos vemos en mi procesión del año que viene.
Exacto. Ahí te espero, ¿eh?
Tenemos que elegir una hermandad.
Que te guste.
Eso.
Yo
Chao.
te voy a elegir. Chao.
Chao, hasta luego.
So I'm not a fan of organized religion, and I'm a very, very lapsed Catholic. But what really comes to mind after the last 36 hours is the idea that a community, a big community, comes together. People come together around something that they share in common, I think is really, really powerful. And I admire the Sevillanos for it. I leave with a part of me wishing I had some more of that. I guess not the religion, but the community, right? The strong community. I wish I had a little more of that in my life. Off to Madrid. We'll see you in the next episode. Ciao.